guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Heather Salter-Purves. This video is actually going to explain some small changes that have been happening around the channel and the evolution of myself as an author and what you can expect moving forward. I am grateful for everyone who's been here this long in the journey and excited to take you through the next part. So this is a honest, quick conversation that has been coming forward. I really, in the last sort of month, as well as with talks with beautiful wife Leanne, have come to the realization that general chats about books and writing and life updates are important as creating a genuine connection. I love everyone that's here. I'm being honest with myself. I love queer fantasy. I really do. But there's part of me that really wants to dive deeper and commit to being the author I really want to be. And that is a Sapphic fantasy and folklore author. So that's it. That's my shift. If you want to stay along, I'll talk to you a bit more about it. Every time I dive into reading about different folklores and new folklores, I discover an underrepresented myth in the world, or a goddess, and every time I start talking about the Sapphic potential within the stories, my heart sings, my creativity blooms, and I come alive, and it's something that makes it so much more juicy for me to write. I want to do this. I love the idea of using my voice to create stories and a legacy and an empowerment of underrepresented communities, of Sapphic, non-binary stories, lesbian stories, everything that's happening in the world, not only here in Australia but everywhere else. Women's stories are being taken and twisted and control is being removed. It's something that scares and worries me as a mum of a little girl. So I want to create a legacy of empowering feminist retellings and reimaginings, and where women can stand proudly and pursue things in worlds. That brings me to the change. I am going to be diving in and standing proudly and strongly in being a Sapphic fantasy and folklore author. I'm not going to be chasing the wider variety. I'm going back to my roots of what made me fall in love with stories and what made me fall in love with writing and creating worlds and stories that really resonate with me, which means I'm more authentic in creating the stories and books and novels for everyone. It is who I really am. I'm not just someone who happens to like mythology. It is something that has been deep within me from a really young age, and I think I was trying really hard to balance that beforehand, make sure it was stories that would be consumed and acceptable. I don't have to bend or yield or be acceptable. My viewers, my readers, the world will find. I'm obsessed with finding queer stories that always existed in our myths and legends. I want to dig down into the goddesses and gods that don't define to a binary. And that haven't seen the light of day in ages. I want to see creatures and folklore that have untapped potential and raise them up. So what's changing? Starting this Tuesday, I'm going to be doing something different. I'm going to be launching my top 5 series. So every Tuesday, I'll be diving into underrepresented figures from mythology and folklore. Think Greek goddesses, fancy creatures that are begging for a Sapphic retelling. Celtic, Welsh mythology, Slavic mythology. There's so much. There aren't going to be a surface level video. I want to share genuine insights and explore the Sapphic potential of stories that gave me ideas of whether I'm reading for something. I'm looking, as a reader, you're looking for something new, or as a writer, you're seeking some inspiration. I want to explore it. I want to bring you along on this journey of a rich, rich world of possibilities. And then on Fridays, there'll be a writing vlog coming up where I'll be focusing on my writing process and the books that I'm reading and non-fiction books I've been picking up to really build my references. You'll see me drafting through Primrose Princess, Sacrifice, doing the research, working through the world building challenges, the real behind the scenes of creating more kingdoms and relationships in the Twisted Garden saga world. But what that means for you as a viewer is I'm genuinely, if you've enjoyed the bookish content, I understand that sometimes that isn't going to be what's here, but I will try and balance it with bringing story, mythology, Sapphic stories to you. If you've ever been curious about mythology and loved learning about underrepresented stories, or just want an authentic writing process content, please come along. So this Tuesday, I'm going to be starting easy with, well, not easy, I'm going to be starting off with 5 underrepresented Greek goddesses who deserve a retelling. I'm not talking about stories that have never been told. I'm talking about Iris, the ultimate connector between worlds. I'm talking about Hecate, who's the patron of liminal spaces. These aren't typical Persephone stories, or Athena. I have done my Persephone story, and I loved it with Welsh mythology. But there are other women that lurk in the corners and the fringes of each mythology that deserve to have their stories brought to a new audience. So in short, I am genuinely emotionally excited about this direction I'm going, and I'm hoping you will come along with me on the ride. It feels like the most authentic and true guts of me. This feels like the world has just opened up and I am so in love with creating stories again. So I'll see you on Tuesday, the first deep dive. If you have any other mythologies or stories you want me to deep dive into, I'd love to hear them down below. Let me explore. So thanks for being here. If you're a long time subscriber, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I really do want to work forward, and thank you for giving me the grace and the time to figure out where I stand. And I want to dive into the dark and help it bloom. The women lost in time and space, and have their stories. And love can bloom anywhere. So let's dive into the next chapter of my journey with I love. So thank you.